On Saturday morning, I woke up before my alarm went off and jumped out of bed like I had springs under my feet. I pulled on the outfit I'd picked out the night before, my Coco's t-shirt with the neck and sleeves off over a red tank top, turquoise pencil skirt over fluorescent green leggings, and my silver Converse. I was rocking my Kate Sal colors for luck. To finish the look, I grabbed some black rubber bracelets to wear on my right arm. In the kitchen, Mom stacked pancakes onto a plate. Blueberry and cashew pancakes? I asked. What's the occasion? Why do I need a special occasion to make pancakes? Mom asked. Because blueberry and cashew pancakes are usually a special occasion breakfast, I said, and sat down at the table. Well, happy weekend, Mom said, and placed a plate in front of me. I thought we'd have a nice breakfast. You've been so down lately, and I wanted to cheer you up. Thanks, Mom, I said, still suspicious. Besides, it's good to change things up once in a while. Yeah, sure, I agreed, pouring maple syrup over my pancakes. You look nice today, Mom said. Are you okay, Mom? I asked. I'm worried about you. I'm great, she said. Can't I tell you that you look nice? Now you're making me nervous. I like that shirt, by the way, she said. Oh, thanks, just something Joe made, I said, shoveling a forkful of pancake into my mouth and hoping she wouldn't ask any follow-up questions. I thought about that thing Mom sometimes says, something about a tangled web and lying. Could she see the guilt all over my face? So you two made up? She asked and winked. Please, Mom. Okay, she said. I'm gone. I have to go to my office today. Midterm grades are due, and I have a lot of essays to get through. I don't know if I'm even going to be able to make it to the fall fiesta. It had slipped my mind that Mom planned to attend fall fiesta, but this worked out perfectly. If she wasn't going to be able to make it, there was nothing to worry about. Thanks for the pancakes, I said. She came up behind me and planted a kiss on my cheek. Love you. Something was up. But I didn't have time to wonder what it might be. I had bigger things to worry about. Joe would be coming over soon, and my stomach felt like the inside of a popcorn machine full of exploding kernels. In the bathroom, I went over the sink and splashed cold water on my face. When I came up, I caught my reflection in the mirror. Hair in 2 braids, just like always, but not for much longer. The buzzer rang, and I let Joe into the building. Dude, Joe said when I opened the door, you should ask who it is. You never know when it's going to be El Cucuy coming to take you away in a big plastic garbage bag. I knew it was you, I said, even though you do look like El Cucuy. I laughed, and Joe swung his bag of supplies at me. Joe didn't really look like the boogeyman. You sure you want to do this? Joe asked. You sure you know what you're doing? I replied. Let the master show you how it's done, he said. But first, you're going to have to put on something you wouldn't mind staining. In my room, I changed into an old t-shirt and cutoffs. I definitely didn't want to stain my stage outfit. Ready? You aren't going to mess this up, are you? I asked. Let's step into my office, Joe said as I led the way to the bathroom. You're in good hands. The whole process took a lot longer than I imagined it would, and the smell of chemicals irritated my eyes and nose. I was pretty sure hair bleach was not something a couple of kids like us should be messing with. But finally, Joe was ready to show me his work. Pretty cool if I do say so myself, he said, nodding his approval. I turned to look at the left side of my head, then the right. Let me see the back, I said. Joe handed me a small mirror and held it up to see. He had cut off most of my hair. It was shorter than it had ever been, shaved close on both sides with long bangs. The bleach Joe applied to my bangs left hair a shade of yellow, like the marigolds on Mrs. Hidalgo's altar. I decided to only dye my bangs since I knew I'd have to color my hair again after the weekend or risk being in the violation of the dress code. My heart pounded fast just thinking about the reaction Mom would have when she saw what I'd done. That's as blonde as we have time for, Joe said. I hope the color looks okay. Thanks for doing this. No problem, Joe said. If I never make it as an artist, I can always do hair. Can I ask you a question? Sure, Joe said, but I can't promise I'll answer it. Why'd you have your hair dyed blue on the first day of school? I asked. I mean, you aren't especially punky. I like the color blue. Why else? Joe asked. Besides, there's no rule that says only punks can dye their hair, is there? I guess not, I said. I looked him up and down. He was dressed in his usual Henry Huggins style like a 1950s paper boy. Today he wore a striped t-shirt and rolled-up jeans. Your problem is, you think punk is about the way someone looks, Joe said with a smirk, or the music someone listens to. Well, that's part of it, I said. Sort of. Whatever you say, Maria Luisa, Joe said with a shrug. You ready, punk? He held up the container of hair dye. Yeah, keep working, I said. We're running out of time. Hey, your mom isn't going to freak out or anything, is she? Don't worry about it, I said, trying to reassure us both. You're the boss. Joe opened the container of dye and began rubbing the contents into my hair. Did you know green was the sacred color of the Aztecs? He asked. How do you even know this stuff? I read books. Joe said, you should try it. You're hilarious. We waited in my room for the dye to set in. I worked on a zine while Joe drew in his sketchpad. We took turns picking music to play. Gonna start working on my comic zine, he said, holding up a page on which he'd sketched thumbnails of an 8-page comic. I gave him the thumbs up. When the timer on my phone finally went off, Joe hopped up. Time to rinse, he said. Here's hoping your hair actually looks green. We headed back into the bathroom where I bent my head over the side of the tub, but we didn't get a chance to start rinsing before I heard the front door open. Malou, are you here? Oh no, my mom, I said. I didn't think she'd be back so early. I think we've been caught green-handed, Joe said. Don't joke, I said, in the bathroom. I called out to Mom. I heard her make her way down the creaky floored hallway, each step counting down to what would surely be an epic mom freak out. Ave Maria Purissima, she said when she appeared in the doorway. I knew it was bad when Mom got religious and invoked the Virgin Mary. She looked around the bathroom, taking in the damage. What have you two done? Joe sat on the toilet lid, locks of my hair covered the floor around his sneakers. What was left of my hair was tucked into a plastic shower cap, though not tucked in enough to keep from dripping. A splotch of the green dye landed on my shoe. Mom looked at my shoe, then at me. Only then did I notice the green everywhere, on our hands, on my shirt, on the sink, on the floor. The container of neon iguana hair dye sat on a ring of green on top of the toilet tank, a little too close to the toilet paper doll Senora Aurelia had given us. While her lemon yellow skirt was spared, the doll attached to it was not as lucky. I thought it was an improvement on her overall look, but based on Mom's reaction, she didn't agree. Out, Mom said. But Mom, I need to rinse this off. I pointed to my head, afraid to touch it for fear of making contact with the hair dye and spreading more green. Not you, she said. I think it's time for you to leave, Joe. Joe flashed her a sheepish smile as he gathered a pair of rubber gloves, a plastic bowl, and the half-empty container of hair dye into a shopping bag. Bye, Senora Morales, he said. Goodbye, Joe, and Mom said in her I'm not at all happy tone. See you at school in a little while, he called back to me as he headed out the door. If you know who lets you out, of course. He looked at Mom and wiggled his eyebrows. You're cleaning this up, señorita, Mom said. She left the back room and came back holding a dustpan in one hand and a broom in the other. The look on her face was one of surprise, as if she were seeing my hair for the first time. I can't believe you left all your hair on the floor, Mom said. She kicked a clump of hair with her shoe before turning her attention to the rest of the bathroom. Ay, Malou, she said, look at this mess. She looked at the towel I held formerly solid yellow, now faded with green splotches. There were a couple more stained towels from the matching set lying in a pile on the radiator cover. What possessed you to do this? She asked. After assessing the floor situation, I had to agree with Mom. It did not look like I had left all my hair on the floor. I figured now wasn't the best time to tell her about the band and that I couldn't be in a punk band with my little kid braids. Clean all of this up, she said, including yourself. Mom left the bathroom and I got to work. I swept until all the hair was in the trash, and I scrubbed the green dye off surfaces as much as possible. When I was finished, I undressed and stepped into the tub, letting the warm water run over me. Rivers of green trickled down. They mixed with the water and swirled at the bottom of the tub like little green eddies before being rushed down the drain. I scrubbed my neck hard to try to get all the tiny pieces of hair off. Finally, when the water ran mostly clear, I climbed out. I wiped condensation from the mirror and looked at myself. My bangs weren't the same shade of green as the neon iguana hair dye in the jar, but they were green. Awesome. I grinned at the me I saw reflected.